Mr. Donald Trump has once again brought Greenland into the center of global politics. That's right, speaking during the NATO summit, President Trump repeated his belief that Greenland should never come under the American control. In fact, he argued that the Arctic island is strategically important for the United States and linked the issue to America's long-standing military commitments in Europe. Mr. Trump also suggested that Washington has spent a lot of resources protecting the European allies and deserve greater cooperation on issues affecting the American security. Now, this is not the very first time when Mr. Trump has spoken about Greenland, of course. It's his unfulfilled desire. His earlier comments on acquiring the Greenland, it generated global headlines and they were firmly rejected by both Denmark and Greenland's leader. But despite those objections, the strategic importance of Greenland has continued to grow. Think about why Greenland matters so much here. The Arctic is rapidly becoming one of the world's most important geopolitical regions. Climate change is opening new shipping routes. Countries are competing for access to valuable natural resources. Military activity in Arctic it is increasing, and global powers including the United States, Russia and China are paying much closer attention to the region than ever before. Now, Greenland sits at the center of many of these strategic calculations. Well, its location makes it an important resource for missile defense system, Arctic surveillance and military logistics. The US already operates a major military installation on the island, making Greenland an important part of America's northern defense strategy. Now, for Denmark and Greenland, the sovereignty that is not open for any sort of discussion. Their position remains absolutely clear. Greenland's future belongs to its own people, and that is why every new statement on this issue it quickly becomes international news, because today's competition is no longer limited to land, sea and air. Well, it is expanding into the Arctic, where geography, security and global power are becoming increasingly interconnected. Can you imagine a routine cargo flight carrying essential goods between two nations? The weather looks manageable, communication with air traffic control is pretty normal, and then suddenly the pilots report an emergency. Minutes later, the aircraft disappears from the radar. Well, that is exactly what happened to a Pakistan-registered Boeing 737 cargo aircraft traveling from Sharjah to Karachi. According to aviation authorities, the crew declared an in-flight navigation emergency while flying over the Arabian Sea near Pakistan's southern coastline. Flight tracking data reportedly showed unusual altitude changes before all the communication with the aircraft was lost. Soon afterwards, search and rescue teams were deployed near the Gwadar-Omara coastline in Balochistan. Now, think about what happens when an aircraft disappears over the sea. Every passing minute becomes critical. Rescue teams have dealt with the rough weather, they have dealt with changing sea current, limited visibility and massive search area. Finding even small pieces of debris in open water, it was very difficult for them. For the families of the 5 crew members, the uncertainty, it is heartbreaking. Well, every phone call brings some sort of hope for them. Every passing hour brings more anxiety to them. In the meantime, investigators will eventually try to answer several important questions once they find it themselves. The questions like, did the aircraft suffer a technical failure? Or perhaps, was there a navigation system that malfunctioned? Another important question, did weather condition play a role, or did another emergency force the crew just to declare distress? Until investigators recover the aircraft and its flight records, these questions may remain unanswered. But incidents like these also remind us that aviation remains one of the safest forms of transport in the world. Thousands of aircraft take off and land safely every single day, but when something goes wrong, every second matters and rescue operations become an international race against the time.